It has been about a week since we've updated you on the West Ada School District and the controversy surrounding administrators asking a sixth grade teacher to remove an inclusive poster from her classroom. They said at the time the "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster in Sarah and Emma's sixth grade class violated school district policy about having a neutral learning environment. And Sarah told us she was told it was because, well, the poster contained hands of various skin tones, and not everyone believes that message. You might remember we filed a public records request asking West Ada for any correspondence that may have been shared among district employees about Miss Inama and her "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster right around the time we broke her story. Remember when they wanted to charge us $9,500 for the more than 7,000 emails that were in that treasure trove? Well, we learned later they shared 1,200 emails with Idaho Ed News right around that same time at no charge. So we just asked for those, and we got them. And you should know, the drop includes hundreds of emails sent to the district in support of Sarah from all over the world. But it also included several draft letters, both the superintendent, Derek Bubb, and from the Board of Trustees, who wanted to share with the public, but ultimately did not. The public records we received also included a mock podcast where the chief academic officer was running through what he wanted to say on a local podcast. That would be The Ranch with Matt Todd. And what those draft letters say and what was said on that pretend podcast, they say a lot. Sometime around spring break, a series of draft responses from the school board was shared among the trustees. The first one mentioned how they're just volunteers and beholden to public meetings laws, which is why they weren't able to respond quickly as a group to the poster controversy. It lays out how everyone is welcome at West Ada, reiterates their sign policy, that's 401.2, and how difficult it is to monitor 58 schools with hundreds of rooms without disrupting learning. They said they've been able to do it, though, until now. This time, a teacher had a sign that contained the same "Everyone is Welcome" text that we all agree with, but there was additional graphics that were on the bubble, but ultimately determined to have crossed the line of being potentially political. Unfortunately, in this case, the grievance process was bypassed, and instead, the media were contacted, and things went quickly downhill, they said. It went on to say, yet the media care nothing about principle, nor learning, nor kids. They care about clicks, and nothing stirs up more clicks than controversy. You can imagine how that made our staff feel, and the administration, and the board. I can only say that I hope you're never accused of being a racist by hundreds of people across the country you've never met with no ability to respond. Subsequent drafts removed the part about Sarah taking her story public and the uncaring way the media covered it. But the message was still the same. Everyone is welcome at West Ada. We're going to continue to focus on learning and enforce the policy 401.2, all while acknowledging the, quote, unintended pain caused by the situation in which mistakes were made. Speaking of mistakes, or maybe trying to avoid them, 2 days after Sarah shared her story, and 2 days before going on a local podcast, the chief academic officer, Marcus Meyers, practiced his answers.
Because of the relationships, not because of the poster or a display on the wall. It's about our actions aligning with our beliefs, and those are so much more powerful than any piece of paper we can hang up.
As an aside, I'm trying to decide how nasty I want to get with you and how much I want to, I don't think Matt's going to do that. So
Matt's going to ask those questions exactly the way you asked him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so what about this? Why is that such a problem?
Yeah.
What Matt does then is he then interjects his beliefs in that and then says, what do you think about
About 15 minutes later, they started talking about the Explorer Way posters already in Lewis and Clark Middle School classrooms and how they say the same thing as Sarah's "Everyone is Welcome Here" poster.
Why was this sign different? And I've already put in some bullet points to what I think of how we answer that. But I think Brian Holmes would ask that question.
And he should.
Yeah.
Matt will not.
Yeah.
But Brian Holmes will ask that question.
Absolutely.
Because he zoomed in on that in the deal. The term diversity is right in there. He should have found that. And the moment he did that, I was like,
Then, at the end, this came up.
Do you think it's any accident that all that's going on nationally with the Department of Education, is there any tie in there to what's happening nationally, to what's happening in West Ada this week?
This was no accident at all. I think it was directly timed. along with this and the conversation we've had politically in the Department of Education, politically timed both by the reporter and by the teacher.
I just threw that question in there. Boy, I don't know how to. I don't like that answer, but it's not wrong.
It's true.
It's absolutely true.
It's absolutely not true, Mr. Meyers and Mr. Hyde. But you might know that if you had agreed to speak with us about this instead of deciding to avoid tough questions and going on a safe space podcast. And the same could be said to the West Ada board members. We were told today that Pretend Podcast was intended for internal training purposes only. Yet it was included in our public records request. And because we're all about transparency here at KTVB, let me tell you how this story came to be. On February 25th, a few weeks after she was told to remove her poster, Sarah Inama reached out to us, the same way our viewers every day reach out to us, by text message. And it wasn't until March 10th that we were able to share her story. And we have given West Ada administrators and board members many chances to speak with us from day one. And they've declined every single one, including today. But seeing these mock draft or these draft letters and these mock podcasts, maybe you can see why. Maybe they were hoping this whole thing would just blow over, like within a 24-hour news cycle. But here's the question. If you don't add to the narrative, West Ada, how can you complain when that narrative takes off on its own? And Sarah's story certainly has. West Ada has said they have this policy in place to protect their teachers from negative outside forces. But it appears this has just disproven your theory. This has shown you when one of your teachers refuses to give in to those outside forces, the bigots and the racists, you now see how the community will rally around them. But you, West Ada, you've not done the same thing. You instead have chosen to cave to those outside forces. And this is the media's fault? This is Sarah Inama's fault? Probably the biggest thing we've learned from all of this so far, it took a 6th grade history teacher who knows a thing or two about what happens when people don't say anything to stand up and say something. And we were just fortunate to be part of it.